Here's how I chose comfort over my dream life. Now, you may ask, what exactly are you talking about? What do you mean you chose comfort over your dream life? Like your actual dream? Yeah, so basically I went to Australia and had really a tough time. I couldn't think, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Um it was a really odd phenomenon and I never experienced it before. Mostly because I'd never been out of the country before. I've been all across the country, but not out of the country. And I didn't expect a country all the way across the world to be so similar to the United States. And it almost, well, it did make me crash out about it. I came to this point in the US where familiar felt really dangerous to me. And as you can tell, I'm sick right now. I'm sick because I got sick when I went to Australia. And I, I'm back now. Was there for a hot minute. And then um, like I said, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I wasn't eating anything. Um, Unfortunately, airplanes don't really have vegan options, so that's what I am. And I did pack things for me to eat, but I just couldn't eat. I didn't have any appetite. I wanted to throw up all the time. I did throw up on the plane, um, on my 14-hour plane flight back home, because of how sick I was. And I was supposed to have this whole dream life in Australia that I had come up with. And hence why my name, on a lot of my platforms is Artist to Australia, because that was my dream. Or so I thought. Now, it could still have been my dream life, and I could have chose comfort over my dream life, which is what I mean when I started this video, or what I meant when I started this video. Because honestly, I expected a lot more from my dream life right off the bat. And maybe that's not how it works. Maybe you're, truly just supposed to trust the process. And I do feel like I did try to do that at least a little bit. I still got on the plane. I still got there. I felt weird about it. I still got on the plane. I felt weird about it. Still got on the plane. Because there's like 3 plane rides to get to there. And I still, I don't know. I still, I felt like it was really hard work. I felt like I was doing a lot of really hard work. And I'm not afraid of hard work, but I am tired of it. um, I have been working hard, I feel, my entire life, not just in jobs and making money since I was 7 years old, but also I I feel like I've been working hard to grow as a person. I was not given the easiest upbringing to become a great person. I was not given even the slightest upbringing to be a successful person, especially not in this society, in the United States, particularly. And I still tried. I still tried. I kicked ass. I really did. There were times I was working 3 jobs at a time to pay my rent and to live there and or live here and doing it all on my own. And it just wasn't enough, wasn't fulfilling, made me feel really terrible. Um, so anyway, I had gotten to this point, pretty much after last election, that I needed to leave the country. And Australia was my first choice. I would have moved to Canada in a heartbeat, um, if it had been something that I had longed for my entire life. But it wasn't. However, Australia was. Australia was my number one in my eyes. And I had this phrase that I would say that all signs point to Australia. Now, do I feel like I gave up my dream life for comfort? Yes, a little bit. Um, Maybe if I would have stayed at the hostel, been sick there for just a little bit longer, I could have reached the clarity of mind. Hey, hey, stop it. Stop. My cat. I could have reached the clarity of mind that I needed to get to in order to see that maybe I was giving up my dream life for comfort. But I wasn't there. I was really sick. I had the most major brain fog, probably jet lag. Um, and the only thing I could fathom was getting back home. Do I even have a home here? No. I have an ex's RV. Did I think of that when I was in Australia? Yes. And it still sounded better. It still sounded better to me. And as I sit here before you now in the United States, am I upset at myself for turning around? Sorry about that. Yes, I am in fact upset at myself that I did that. Why am I upset at myself? I'm upset at myself because instead of just seeing the hostel as soon as I got there, saying, this is not for me, going to a hotel that's in a better part of Perth, because this was not a better part of Perth, and I don't care who tells you that Perth is all good, but it's not. Dodgy, sketchy areas. So, because of that, I, because I couldn't just think, I couldn't take a second, I couldn't breathe. There were 60 people in this hostel. One person was nice. Two other people were okay. They answered the questions I asked them. But yeah, I just should have turned around. I just should have not accepted that place and went somewhere else where I could have at least took a clean shower because it was not clean there whatsoever. Where I could have at least been by myself because I don't want to be around mean people. And then maybe I would have gotten the clarity. And my original idea was actually to do that, was to go to an Airbnb as soon as I got to Perth, blah, 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 blah. But it was a lot of money, and hostels are way cheaper. And I was like, why not just do a hostel? Because I've worked at a hostel before, I know what they're like. This was unlike the hostels that I knew. Probably because I'd only been to the United States once. But yeah. So did I give up on my dream life? No. Did I did I did I take a detour? Yes. A major detour, in fact, a U-turn. But that doesn't mean that I can't still get what I want. I can't still go where I want. I can't still be who I want. So yeah. We're starting over from step 1. Honestly, actually, I think it's below step 1. I think we're in the basement currently. But I know I can't be here. I know Australia's not for me. Maybe if I would have given it a little bit more of a chance, it could have been, but at this point my brain just says nope. Should I have just went to Melbourne? Melbourne, that's the one. Should I have just went there? Probably. I know that there's actually gay people there, and as a gay in Perth, I felt really weird. Even honestly in Brisbane and in Sydney, I felt weird. Um, I felt just really, really shit. Um, and the fact that I got to a place I paid for and I couldn't even take a nice shower was just really disappointing. And like I said, expectations were super high, and maybe I should have just been like, I'm trusting the process. But I literally, my brain would not let me think anything else besides get home, you're sick, get home, you're sick, get home, you're sick. Like, I felt, like I said, like complete shit. Now, should I have flown on a plane while I was sick? Probably not. Did I realize how sick I was? No. But that's no excuse for that. I did cover my face the majority of the time, so um, hopefully no one else got affected by it. But there was definitely other sick people in that plane that were not doing anything about it. So one way or another, things happen. But point is if you're feeling like you just made a huge step you never made before, a huge ginormous step in your life, and you're like, dang, I think this was a mistake. Maybe just, give it, maybe just give it some time. You don't have to give it a lot of time. Give it a day more, 24 hours longer. But I would suggest thinking on it before you buy a plane ticket back home and waste all your money on a plane ticket back home. Because I would have considered myself rich 3 days ago, but anymore? No, because I bought a one-way, very last-minute plane flight that had 3 flights involved. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my story, and I hope you can learn something from it. And don't judge me, please. I'm already judging myself enough. And like I said, if you take a big step in your life, if you really think that going home is best for you, do it. Because that's how I felt at the time. Like, truly, that is how I felt at the time. But if you can, if you're able to hang on for 24 more hours, do it. If you're strong enough to hold on for 24 more hours, please do it. Because you never know. You never know what could happen, or what circumstances could change, or just the clarity that, it could bring. So yeah. I'm no longer going to be artist to Australia. And am I disappointed about that? Yeah. Do I still like some Australians? Yeah. Um, but too American for me. And they also love Americans over there. I don't. I don't like Americans. Isn't that hilarious? I'm an American and I don't like Americans. That's not true, but the majority. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't get along. We don't see eye to eye. I'm a social justice warrior in their eyes, just because I believe in human rights and don't think that they should say the N word and stuff like that. So, if you're not a person of that ethnicity, of that race, you shouldn't be saying that word. But anyway, yeah. So, do I think that if you're trying to get out of America, you should go to Australia? No. If you like America, if you like the capitalist like type of society, okay, go for it. But I don't like that. I really thought I was going to get there and people would be more connected with nature and things would be cleaner. I don't know why. I read a lot of blogs and all of them lied, I guess. Um, yeah, I don't know. The only thing that they did was conserve water, which, is a need over there. So it's good, but I just need people to care. I need consciousness. I need people who love the environment and want to make it better. And I don't know where to find those people. But like I said, we're starting from scratch. Again, let's make this recipe the one that hits, the one that gets us truly out of here. Maybe that's Canada. When I was in Canada, when I was in Vancouver, it was very diverse, and that's truly what I think is probably the best for me is diversity wherever has the most diversity, because I really enjoy different cultures. So, um, going to Australia and just feeling like I'm in America was a really bizarre phenomenon. Anyway, this is a much longer video than I thought I was going to make. Point is, you know, sometimes we do shit and sometimes we reverse it, and we can't beat ourselves up about either decision, okay? And also, by the way, I have HEDS and neurodivergency, so not having anything to comfort me was really difficult, and not being able to breathe or take a breather by myself was really difficult, and being around people for a week straight was really difficult. On planes, out of planes, didn't matter. So, give yourself some grace. I love you. We're all just trying to figure out this life, and hopefully I'll figure it out, and so will you.